Hello, everybody. This is Terry with your Sagittarius New Moon astrology reading for December 12th. And the Sagittarius New Moon and Sun will be at 20 degrees on December 12th, just in close conjunction to that 21 degrees of Sagittarius that is Taylor Swift, who will be having a birthday on December 13th, the very next day, and that will be her solar return when the sun returns to the place it was when you were born. And I just did a whole reading for Taylor Swift. I was doing an energy clearing and distance Reiki for a client who is a huge Swiftie, big Taylor Swift fan, and she said, why don't you ever do the astrology reading for celebrities like Taylor Swift? So I just decided I would do that reading for Taylor and Travis, and she is having the time of her life this year, Taylor Swift, in both Eastern and Western astrologies. The stars are aligning. She has so many fortunate aspects as she's traveling through that 3 wood star in the 9-star key that's just lighting her up with so much energy. And our whole world will be traveling through that 3 wood star in the 9-star key, which is an Eastern astrology I also study. And I just recorded all of the 2024 9-star key astrology readings. If you haven't checked it out yet, it is really fun to see what is going to happen in 2024 for both collectively for the world going through that 3 wood star, but then each and every one of us also has our own personal star that will be going through a different cycle. And this is Eastern, but today I'm going to talk about the Western Sagittarius new moon, but I just thought I would share that to pique your interest. And I am giving away free 9-star key astrology readings. These are personal readings. I personally read your 3 stars, and I'll drop the link down below. You can just sign up for my email to get a free 9-star key reading. And this Sagittarius new moon is really lighting up our fire. It feels really good. In where I live in the Pacific Northwest, it's very cold and damp, and we have snow on the horizon. And there's just something so comforting about a Sagittarius new moon that feels like being in front of the fire pit and warming yourselves and being inspired in the dark and the cold. And Sagittarius gives us that spark of momentum to just really push forward on everything we have to do. It always seems like this time of year is such a busy time, and maybe thinking about your new goals that you want to accomplish for 2024. Sagittarius just lights it all up, and it feels so adventurous. Like I just want to go travel right now and go somewhere warm, to a warm sunny beach. And this will just be that like a short, sweet Sagittarius reading, but I want to tell you about all the transits that are affecting us, because we got a bunch of transits. On December 4th, Venus is moving into Scorpio, and this is where Venus really finds her passion and maybe a little bit of obsession, and we may be tempted into dangerous waters when Venus enters Scorpio. And it's a very subconscious, subliminal, the underground. It's like Venus is going into the underground, and there's a lot of dreams and just beautiful creativity that you can access with this Venus in Scorpio. But just be careful of starting relationships under Venus and Scorpio. Sometimes it can get you into these turbulent waters that it might not be a lasting relationship. And just be careful about making decisions on your path right now while Venus is, and I am a Scorpio myself, but even I know to take heed when Venus is in Scorpio. It's not as where she's at her strongest. And maybe you want to make your love decisions later on when Venus enters Sagittarius, and it's a little more optimistic, and we'll be thinking a little bit more clearly about our path forward. But this Venus in Scorpio can be a very prosperous time for those of you who are born with Scorpio, or any houses you have with a lot of planets in Scorpio. If you're Scorpio rising, Venus in Scorpio is really good news for us. And I know I've been having some really lucky breaks with just money showing up in creative ways, and that's got to be the Venus entering Scorpio. So if you have Scorpio planets, if you are a Scorpio, Scorpio rising, Scorpio north node, this is your time to make a wish to Venus. It could be a love wish, or it can be Venus rules over love and money, and she gets what she wants, just like Lola. So make a wish for what you want, and know that you deserve to have everything that you desire. And Scorpios especially deserve to have their wishes come true after being in that crazy eclipse portal for the last year and a half. So you may just receive some lucky breaks this month if you're a Scorpio, or wherever your Scorpio house is. And my Scorpio is in the 4th house. I'd love to just have a dream house just land up for me, but some other transits to be thinking about this month. December 6th, we have Neptune in Pisces finally stationing direct. It feels like we've been in this Neptune in Pisces retrograde forever. How long has it been? I don't know, but that has been really causing confusion, delusion, especially for Virgos, because that Neptune in Pisces has been opposite Virgo. So Virgos were really under the spell of that opposition with the confusion and delusion. And now you Virgos, you can finally chart your course ahead and think clearly again and see things for what they really are. But we will all be feeling a little more clear-minded, and we can still be so creative with Neptune and Pisces, but when it stations direct, it's like a forward momentum on our imagination and creativity, and less confusion and delusion for our world is going to be a really good thing to have Neptune finally going direct. And then on December 13th, just after this new moon, we have Mercury stationing retrograde at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and Mercury will continue to be retrograde going all the way through Sagittarius, even before Mercury stations direct on January 1st, 2024. So just as we enter the new year, Mercury will go back to being direct. And that will be causing a lot of, Mercury and Capricorn can just really cause a lot of hassles when you're traveling, with restrictions and rules, regulations, and all those kinds of things will be having mishaps. So just be careful. And then, of course, Mercury going into Sagittarius again is kind of about traveling and having problems. So even though I want to travel with this Sagittarius new moon, maybe this isn't the best time for holiday travels. I see lots of headaches at the airport this Christmas. And Mars will be conjunct Antares, the star Antares, in the heart of Scorpio. Antares means the rival of Mars. And that is because they are both these red planets that almost rival for who could be more red. And I'm wearing red today. I guess I'm feeling the Antares-Mars conjunction. And Antares is just this ruby red star. You can look for it in the constellation of Scorpio. It shows up right in the heart of Scorpio. And Mars and Antares both bring us this ambitious energy to make things happen and to move forth. And it can bring prosperity, because Antares is one of the 4 royal stars. Just like we were talking about Regulus, the royal star of Leo, and Antares is the royal star of Scorpio, both found in the heart of the constellations. And Regulus can really heighten your status. So there seems to be a lot of awards going around right now, and Antares in the heart of Scorpio conjunct Mars can bring a rise to power and recognition and fame for anyone who has good placements in their astrology chart with where your Scorpio is, but it also relates because of the procession of stars. Antares really relates to 10 degrees of Sagittarius. So see where 10 degrees of Sagittarius shows up in your astrology chart, and you'll know where this Mars-Antares conjunction is. That really does give an opportunity for a rise in power. Maybe you get a promotion, a bonus, or some windfall that takes you to a higher status financially. But the red star and the red planet, when you have two red star, red planets, Mars and Antares together, these stars have always, red stars and red planets have always been associated with anger and rage, revenge, war, bloodshed, and violence. So this is not a transit that our world needs right now. And when you have a strong Antares Mars conjunction combined, there can also be a reckoning that occurs. And there are some fears of terrorism this holiday season. And then when I see that Mars Antares conjunction, I would say they're not wrong about the fears of terrorism. And I hate to be a messenger of doom and gloom, but just be careful out there in the world, because there is this volatile energy when you have Mars and Antares together. And this is really a good month to just hibernate and do not engage with crazy, and just stay home and don't be out in places where you may feel vulnerable. I wouldn't want to be in crowded places under this Mars Antares conjunction. It's a little dicey, but and the best outcome for it would be to have these ambitions that bring a rise in power. But there's also a lot of negative and violent, warring energy that comes when Mars and Antares get together. And we also have Jupiter stationed in Taurus opposite Venus in Scorpio, an exact opposition happening on December 9th. And beware of overspending this holiday season. There is really a sense that you deserve more in life, and that you deserve to have everything you've ever wanted. And of course that's true. But when you combine that with holiday shopping, you may really overspend and find yourself going in debt. And I will be teaching my Reiki 2 class on that December 9th conjunction, so that'll keep me from shopping. But I think it's going to be interesting because it's not the most ambitious, it's not the greatest transit for learning things. It really just makes you want to indulge in food and drink and party and be with ones you love and get romantic. And so if you're in a relationship, this is a beautiful day to just snuggle up by the fire with your loved one and really have these close encounters where you can have such great connection. But I hope we will be able to focus in Reiki 2 class, because this is when we learn the distance symbols for sending distance healing. And it is like Reiki calculus, I like to call it. It's almost like learning the kanji and the symbols and how to use them. And I just hope with that Jupiter opposite Venus, we will have the mental powers to focus, because we'll probably just want to eat chocolate and do nothing. But that's the kind of energy. This is actually a really beautiful transit. It's too bad it only lasts one day. But if you can spend December 9th with someone you love, just being cozy, snuggling, and being madly in love, it's a beautiful time. And Venus in Scorpio just brings that deep connection, that spiritual, sensual love vibes. And Jupiter in Taurus loves to eat. So this could be a great transit to go out for a romantic meal with someone you love. And Jupiter expands that Scorpio spiritual love to new heights. So it can be a great time for a smoking hot date on Saturday, December 9th, if you can. And then we are going to have the winter solstice in December, which I am so excited about. I love winter solstice. When the light returns, I already cannot wait for the light to return, because it has felt so dark starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's so dark. And I am thinking about doing a Reiki for Abundance live activation where I send out a Reiki attunement to all of you so that you can manifest what you want to really call in for the year of 2024. And just let me know, drop it down in the comments if you would be around, if you would be interested in doing maybe like 7 p.m. on the winter solstice, which is a Thursday on December 21st. I would just meet right here on YouTube I don't do very many lives, but I've been feeling really called to send distance Reiki because I just know so many of you are telling me how much you're in need of healing. And sometimes it's hard to do all the distance healings, individually. It would be nice to do a group distance healing. And we can help to manifest your purpose in 2024. This is the time, this winter solstice is the time to find your North Star in the night skies, to give you the coordinates for where it is you want to go next in life. And the North Star is that driving force behind your intentions. The North Star is Polaris, and Polaris gives us our motivation to manifest our desires, to make things happen. And it can really help give us clarity around our life's big purpose on this winter solstice. Due to the fixed position relative to other stars, the North Star always remains at exactly that same predictable point in relationship to the other stars. No matter how much the stars appear to be moving Polaris, the North Star is something you can count on. It's this dedicated placement. And so this would be a really good time to connect on the winter solstice and just find our purpose, find our North Star, call in the energies of Polaris to help guide us to manifest our intentions. And let me know if you're interested. I'm thinking about doing that. And I was talking a lot about the winter solstice in my 9-star key astrology reading that I recorded today too. So you'll have to check that out because I just believe so much in celebrating the winter solstice and honoring the light, the return to light. And now I just want to read the Sabian symbol for the Sagittarius 20 degrees. In an old-fashioned northern village, men cut ice from a frozen pond for use during their summer. And the keynote here is the foresighted use of natural resources to supply your future needs. And foresight makes it possible to plan for the future with the seasonal rhythm of cold and heat and even larger cycles of change. Quiet and relaxation may have to be sacrificed now, and some hardships endured in order that another type of problem, which may involve survival through proper feeding, be met at some later time. And this stresses the value of actively planning for your future needs. And the key word is assuring your supply. And this is an interesting Sabian symbol for this type of year when you really think about your supplies in the winter. And, I've never been the type of person to be a prepper, but those solar storms looming in 2024, they do have me thinking about buying generators and maybe stockpiling some food just in case the solar storms take out our electrical grid next summer, as has been predicted. You can go down a whole rabbit hole about the solar storms. And even Wall Street Journal did an article about how the solar storms may just devastate our financial system next summer. And that's, when even the conservative newspapers like Wall Street Journal are talking about it, it's coming. So anyways, time to slice into the ice and start getting ready for next summer. And of course, when you plant your new moon intention in December, this intention will manifest next July when we have the Cancer season, and that is when this new moon, Sagittarius, will become the full moon of next July, next summer. So it's interesting too that the Sabian symbol would be thinking about summer in winter, but this is the time when we plant a seed of intention in December for what we want to manifest 6 months later when the new moon in Sagittarius becomes a full moon in Sagittarius sometime next July during the Cancer season. And this Sagittarius new moon is moving into the Cancer full moon, of course. So interesting, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.